ओम सुमुखाय नमः। ओम एकदंताय नमः। ओम कपिलाय नमः। ओम गजकर्णकाय नमः। ओम लंबोदराय नमः। ओम विघ्नराजाय नमः। ओम विनायकाय नमः। ओम धूमकेतवे नमः। ओम गणाध्यक्षाय नमः। ओम फालचंद्राय नमः। ओम गजाननाय नमः। ओम वक्रतुंडाय नमः। ओम शूर्पकर्णाय नमः। ओम हेरंभाय नमः। ओम स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः। ओम श्री सिद्धिविनायक स्वामिने नमः। ओम स्फटिकरजतवर्णं मौक्तकीमक्षमालाम् अमृतकलशविद्यां ज्ञानमुद्रां कराग्रे ददतमुरककक्षं चन्द्रचूडं त्रिनेत्रं विधृतविविधभूषं दक्षिणामूर्तमीडे। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा. So maybe a few more times of repeating after me. Om Omkara Simha Sarvendraya Namaha. Om Omkara Om Omkaro Dhyana Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkara Nida Shukaraje Namaha. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Nagaraja Sutajanaye Namaha. Om Nagaraja Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Navamanikyamadhyaya Namaha. Om Navachandrashikha Manaye Namaha. Om Nandita Shesha Maunindraya Namaha. Om Nandi Shadi Madeshikaya Namaha. Om Moha Nalasudhasaraya Namaha. Om Mohambuj Sudhakaraya Namaha. Om Mohandakarataranaye Namaha. Om Mohotpalanabhomanaye Namaha. Om Bhakta Jnanabdhishitanshave Namaha. Om Bhakta Jnanatrinalaya Namaha. Om Bhaktamboja Sahasranshave Namaha. Om Bhakta Keki Ghana Ghanaya Namaha. Om Bhakta Kairavarakendave Namaha. Om Bhakta Koki Divakaraya Namaha. Om Gajananadi Sampujyaya Namaha. Om Gajacharmo Jwalakritaye Namaha. Om Ganga Dhavala Divyangaya Namaha. Om Ganga Pankila Sajjataya Namaha. Om Gaganambar Samvitaya Namaha. Om Gaganamukta Murdhajaya Namaha. Om Vadanabjajitabjashye Namaha. ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरद्दिशाय नमः ॐ वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः ॐ वरवीनोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः ॐ तेजःभुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः ॐ विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः ॐ दरिद्रधनशेवदये नमः ॐ क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः ॐ क्षीरेन्दुमुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः ॐ क्षीरोपहाररसिकाय नमः ॐ शिवप्रैश्वर्यफलप्रदाय नमः ॐ नानाभरणमुग्धाङ्गाय नमः ॐ नारीसम्मोहनाकृतये नमः ॐ नादब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः ॐ नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः ॐ मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः ॐ मूर्तामूर्तजगद्वपुषे नमः ॐ मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः ॐ मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः ॐ तरुणादित्यसङ्काशाय नमः ॐ तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः ॐ तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः ॐ तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः ॐ तत्त्वपुस्तोलसत्पाणये नमः ॐ तपुनोडुपलोचनाय नमः ॐ यमसन्नुतसत्कीर्तये नमः ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः ॐ हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः ॐ हंसे द्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः Om Meru Shring Tatolasaya Namaha. Om Meghashyama Manoharaya Namaha. Om Medhankuralabalagraya Namaha. Om Medhapakvaphaladrumaya Namaha. Om Dharmikantarguhavasaya Namaha. Om Dharmamarga Pravartakaya Namaha. Om Dhamatraya Nijaramaya Namaha. Om Dharmottama Manorathaya Namaha. Om Prabodhodgara Deepashriye Namaha. Om Prakashita Jagatraya Namaha. Om Pragya Chandra Shilachandraya Namaha. Om Pragya Manivarakaraya Namaha. Om Jnanantarabhasatmane Namaha. Om Jnatragyadividuragaya Namaha. Om Jnana Jnadvaita Divyangaya Namaha. Om Jnatragyadikulagataye Namaha. Om Prapannaparijatagryaya Namaha. Om Pranatarthyaptivadavaya Namaha. Om Bhutanam Pramanabhutaya Namaha. Om Prapanchahitakarakaya Namaha. Om Yattatvamasi Samvedyaya Namaha. Om Yakshageyatma Vaibhavaya Namaha. Om Yajnadi Devata Murtaye Namaha. Om Yajamana Vapurdharaya Namaha. Om Chhatradipati Vishveshaya Namaha. Om Chhatrasamarasevitaya Namaha. Om Chandasastradi Namaha. Om Chalajatya Namaha. Om Swabhavika Sukhaikatmane Namaha. Om Swanubhuti Rasodadaye Namaha. Om Swarajya Sampadadhyakshaya Namaha. Om Swatma Rama Mahamataye Namaha. Om Hartakab Jatajutaya Namaha. Om Hasodastari Mandalaya Namaha. Om Hala Halojjalaggalaya Namaha. Om Hardagranthi Vimochakaya Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Shri Dayananda Satgurave Namaha. Om Shri Maheshananda Satgurave Namaha. Since we have a few minutes, let's chant the entire the entire Mandukya Upanishad, and then we'll start the make sure I get a copy of that. Let's chant the Upanishad, then the couple of verses of the Karika, then we'll start the class. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Lukarastvandhakaro Vai Lukarastvanivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the Upanishad, first verse. Om ityetadakshara idagum sarvam. Om ityetadakshara idagum sarvam. Tasya upavyakyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyaditi sarvam omkara eva yacchanyattrikalatitam tadapyomkara eva sarvagum hi etat brahma ayamatma brahma soyamatma chatushpat jagritasthano bahishpragyaha saptang eko vimshati mukhaha sthula bhuk vaishvanaraha prathamapadah swapnasthanontah pragyaha saptang ekona vimshati mukhaha pravivikta bhukta taijaso dvitiya padaha yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati तत्सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघनः एव आनन्दमयः ह्य आनन्दभुक्चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञस्तृतीयपादः ह्य आनन्दभुक्चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयपादः एषा सर्वेश्वर एषा सर्वज्ञः एष अन्तर्यामी योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवाप्ययौ हि भूतानां न अन्तःप्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं न उभयतः प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञं अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यमलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारम् प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तम् शिवमद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः सोऽयमात्मा अध्याक्षरम् ओंकारोऽधिमात्रम् पादामात्रा मात्राश्च पादा अकार उकारो मकार इति जागृतस्थानो वैश्वानरः अकारः प्रथमा मात्रा आप्तेरादिमत्वात् आप्नोति ह वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवति स एवं वेद स्वप्नस्थानतैजसः उकारो द्वितीयमात्र उत्कर्षात् उभयत्वात् वा उत्कर्षति ह वै ज्ञानं सन्ततिम् ज्ञानसन्ततिं समानश्च भवति नास्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति य एवं वेद सुषुप्तस्थानः प्राज्ञः मकारस्तृतीया मात्रा मितेरपीर्तेर्वा मिनोति ह वा इदगुं सर्वम् अपीतिश्च भवति य एवं वेद अमात्रश्चतुर्थो व्यवहार्यः प्रपंच उपशमः शिवोद्वैत एवमोंकार आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मान आत्मना आत्मानं य एवं वेद then in the Vaitutya Prakaranam 32, 33, and 34. 3 karikas. Na nirodho na chotpattihi na baddho na cha sadhakaha na mumukshur na vai muktaha ityesha paramarthata bhavai rasabidbhi bhavai rasabhirevayam bhavai rasabhirevayam ayad advayena cha kalpitaha bhava apyadvenaiva tasmad advayata shiva na atma bhavena na nedam na svena pi kathanchana na prithang kichit iti tattva vido viduhu. So we should remind ourselves that this is being the very crux of Vedanta. This is a very advanced Upanishad, difficult to grasp. But the process of grasping it starts with just understanding the basics, and then slowly developing the understanding inconsistent with the basics. So this is, in the beginning it doesn't really strike. The key thing to be kept in mind is that in our life, the spiritual progress consists of recognizing the self-existent, self-knowing, independent Atma, and not putting all the emphasis on the non-independent, changing anatma. This is what spiritual progress is all about. So what's happening in our life is that we are so enamored with thinking about all of the prapancha, the very creation of myself. Really, it's our creation. Ishvara also makes us understand that this whole creation is my creation, really speaking. Even though it was instigated by Ishvara, but it has really become my creation, in the sense that I have a certain understanding of what is going on. And the spiritual progress consists of making sure that I am not completely involved in the intricate details of living my life. To a certain extent I have to, and that's not a problem. But that keeps me from discovering the independent, self-existing, self-knowing Atma. This is what spiritual progress is all about. And here we have so many different doubts that come on, so many different obstacles. But we have to keep going with that. So I think that for the experienced student, what really needs to be kept in mind is that I have a certain vision of my life which is erroneous. It is erroneous. So this is what is called adhyasa. So the word adhyasa means that something which is not true. It's an error. It's a mistake. It's a complete mistake. And just on this point, I was reminded of a recent class that I was listening to Swami Paramarthananda in the Ashtavakra Gita, almost towards the end of it. And he made a very interesting point that I thought I'll just bring in since I'm talking about adhyasa. So he was saying that if you look at this creation, and as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of doubts and a lot of questions that keep me from not focusing as much on the outside and instead focusing on myself. There are a lot of doubts that come on. So let's just focus on this aspect of it. This is a very interesting thing that Swami Paramarthananda had pointed out as a concept. He says the following: one of the doubts we have that keep us from turning our attention to ourselves is the following. The doubt is, what is the purpose of this creation? This is something that nags us. Every time there is a big mass shooting and people die, or anytime there's a big tragedy, my mind just raises this question as to what is going on, who is in charge, is there an Ishvara that is taking care of it? Why does it allow these things to happen? These kinds of things. And this is summarized by the doubt, what is the purpose of my creation? What is the purpose of this creation? Swami Paramarthananda had said, this is what happens. Okay? Now, what we need to understand is that if there is an error, adhyasa, and here really the classical example is the rope being taken for a snake. That should be really the stock example of our life. Really, this is why it is such an important example. This is why it is repeated over and over again. Such a appropriate example for us to focus our energies on, our thinking on. To keep the rope and snake example in your mind. So now what happens is that you take something which is innocuous, not live, just sitting there, not trying to harm you, into something which is moving, harmful, different from what it was to be. You imagine something totally different from what the rope was. So it's a complete mistake. Complete mistake. Okay? So look at the analogy between my experiencing the world and someone taking the rope to be a snake. Identical, really. So it's a mistake. Okay? So now there needs to be a differentiation. So before I do that, the question is, what is the purpose of my taking a rope to a snake? You can see how ridiculous this question is. Because in an error, there is no purpose. This is a very key thing to really understand. In an erroneous perception, there is no purpose. Instead, there is a cause. So we need to do that viveka. We need to make a distinction between a cause and a purpose. So the cause of taking a rope to be a snake is proper. How did this happen? It is a proper question because there was insufficient light, but there was some light. If there was no light, I would not be making a mistake. There is some light, but not adequate light. And I had some fear in my mind from the vasanas from my previous experiences that are lurking around. And somehow or the other, the insufficient light and my vasanas that created a false image in me. And instead of smiling, I became very serious and in fact became fearful. This is the cause. This is the cause. And so cause hunting in a mistake is appropriate. Purpose hunting in a mistake doesn't make any sense. Imagine the person saying, but what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose? People say there's no purpose, you just took it. This is our situation. We get hung up. And if we don't get hung up, then others remind us. So, what are you studying? Samvedi Vedanta. Is there God involved in that? You say, yes, there is. What kind of a God is it that is allowing all these mass shootings and so on and so forth? What is the purpose of the creation? And Swami Paramatmananda also, he sketched a little bit, we didn't go into very much into it. He says, the answer to this is twofold. Okay? So one is for people that are not really into the study. So you can say, I don't know what the purpose is. And the purpose is to, he'll take care of it because it's, then you have to bring in karma phala. You have to bring in a lot of things into it, and you can say, well, that is, it is what it is. What else? What can we say? This is one thing. So to a elementary discussion, rather not very deep discussion, but something very casual, there is one kind of answer you can give. And you say, this is the way things are, and in fact we can say this is the swabhava of Ishvara. But then the answer to a advanced question is my taking myself to be my body-mind complex and dependent on the world, dependent on the outside things and so on, is a mistake. It's adhyasa. So this is where Adi Shankara had spent so much time in sketching out the adhyasa bhashya before Brahma Sutra. Adhyasa. Adhyasa means, my dear fellow, it is a mistake. And there is no purpose in a mistake. What can you say? It's exactly like saying, what was the purpose of my taking the rope to be a snake? There is no purpose. Now, that doesn't mean that there is no cause. So the cause is appropriate, and the cause is ajnanam. It is really not properly understanding, taking the relative to be real. It is taking a movie, you get so absorbed in it that it looks real. Taking a play, and if you're not old enough, it appears as though somebody, your mother is really being beaten. All those kinds of things. It is just so it is not understanding the higher self. This is the cause, but there is no purpose. So, for us to make spiritual progress, we should not really be hung up on issues that are not sanctioned by Shastra. So, as Swami Viditatmananda also pointed out, that he gives a story about Gautama Buddha, that I've told you that supposing you get hit by an arrow or some flying stone and you are hurt, at that point it is useless and in fact disadvantageous for you to look at the purpose. Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Who could have done this? This all comes later. But at that point, you need to get treated right away and get well. This is exactly the point. So, really speaking, we should do the cause hunting and remove the cause of it, the effect of the cause. But to get hung up on deeper issues about what is the purpose, what is the motivation, what is the motivation of Ishvara? There is no motivation because this is the way samsara is. This is the way the whole creation is. And in fact, the answer to that is there is no real creation. So the creation would mean that one day Ishvara would sit like this and say, I think let me do it this way. Yeah, I think this is the way to do that. No, there's no such creation. It just means, so what it really what the whole appearance of a creation means, that if you understand the reality of yourself, reality of Ishvara, unreality of the world, there is no creation. If you don't understand the reality of yourself, the reality of Ishvara, and the unreality of the world, it appears like a creation. And so, a snake is also can be seen as a creation. It is not a creation. Not in the sense that somebody is sitting there and saying, okay, this is the way I'm going to create it. There is a possibility of making a mistake, which is in the very form of the mistake. But there is no deliberate creation per se. This is the swabhava. And so the objective should be for us to see that there is really non-duality alone. And the duality, the plurality, is a mistake. It's a mistake. And a mistake means that let's not worry about the creation, let's not worry about the purpose or anything. We should see how is this a mistake. That's all. This is what we need to do. So therefore, in the Vaithatya Prakaranam, if you just look at this, is a very important, very often quoted verse. The Karika is highly regarded. This is one of the top references in all of Vedanta. So what we are studying, we're very privileged to even get an introduction. We may not completely understand everything, but as a future foundation, it is very useful for us to go through Karika because it is highly recommended to all the advanced students. And for us to become an advanced student, an introduction to this is an important thing. So this verse number 32 is a very important one, often quoted. I've seen this in so many places. And even Swami Paramarthananda's Ashtavakra, he must have quoted this many, many times, this same verse. And in fact, this verse appears in one of the Upanishads whose name I don't remember. It's in one of the Upanishads. So this was done by Gaudapadacharya ji. The Upanishads are already there, so he's picked out some key verses, as it often happens. Same in the Bhagavad Gita also. You take some key verses from the Upanishad and you plant it as an important concept. This is one of them. Na nirodha na cha utpattihi na baddha na cha sadhakaha na mokshaha na vai muktaha ityesha paramarthata. So paramarthata means that the truth, a truth that cannot be negated. See, there are truths that can be negated. Like, for example, the truth of a movie that affects you. So as we were discussing in the last class also, a movie appears to have an impression on you, but there's no truth in it. Another person might see that truth and not really feel anything like you and I did. So there's no truth in it, and if there is some truth, it is very temporary. It appears like a truth. So this would be called Vyavaharika Sat. But Paramarthika Sat means that it is never negated, not possible to negate. And so this is what we have to understand, that really the nature of myself is such. So this is when you say Sat Swarupaha, this is what we have to see. This is our mind just does not grasp it initially. But if you see that the nature of the Atma, it's Sat Swarupa, means it always is. And supposing you are in meditation and you can see that the isness is myself, not belonging to anything, just myself. Then, as the shut it. Then, as you, supposing you come out of meditation, and now what happens is that you are not able to retain the thought that I am as an independent person. This is what needs to slowly become. I am an independent person that is unaffected by anything. This is the Paramarthata. Even though there are things happening in my mind, even though there are various stages, like for example, dream and so on, all of those, even through all of that, I still am. I am an unaffected. It appears to me that I am affected, But in spite of that, I am still the same unaffected person, always been the same. We cannot think about it before our birth, but really from the very birth itself, we can see that I am the very awareness. I am the very awareness of the, sometimes it's an interesting phenomena. You can go back, and I don't know how early you can remember your life. It's very funny, really speaking. I don't remember many of the things from last year, but there are certain impressions about the very early childhood that it looks fresh to me. This is a very funny situation. And I remember now I can pull it back. I used to say, what's happening? What is happening? I remember one of the impressions that I had was when my mother left me in the school and went away. This is a very traumatic thing, really. Because up until then, you're living at home, the mom is already there, father is there, parents, other grandparents were there. This was your thing. And all of a sudden, you're saying, oh, we're going to go to school today. And he says, I'm going to go to school. Like, what does that mean? And then she says, bye. So you say, what? Where are you going? She says, I'll see you later in the day. For the first time, you are alone. I remember that feeling very well. But what is happening to me? So that is the awareness. It's the same awareness that can happen today. What is happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Same awareness. Unchanging. And when we are at the deathbed, the same thing is going to happen. Where am I going? What's going to happen to me? Same awareness. That is the unchanging awareness that I never inquire into. That awareness, how can that be the same? What's the nature of that awareness? So, sometimes we discuss it that I'm the Sakshi. Fine, I'm the Sakshi, but what is the nature of the Sakshi? When did it begin? Did it ever begin? And all of that. So the inquiry into the nature of the Sakshi, that this is a higher reality than the Vyavaharika Sat. So this is all Vyavaharika Sat. Na nirodhaha na cha utpatti, na baddhaha na cha sadhakaha, na mumukshuhu na vai muktaha ityesha paramarthata. So here the Karika is commenting on the basic principles of the Mandukya, na pragyana ghanaha, na antah pragyaha, na bahish pragyaha, all of those kinds of things. And it reiterating that in the form that really any change that you see is not something you should worry about, but it should give you the power to inquire into something which is unchanging. That is the Paramarthata. And the same thoughts are now continued on in 33 also. Bhavaihi asadbhihi eva ayam advayena cha kalpitaha bhavaha api advayena evaha tasmat advayata shiva. Difficult verse. This is an important but a difficult verse. Tasmat advayata shiva. So Shiva means one that gives you kalyanam, peace, purity, happiness. Ashiva means that one that gives you some trouble. some dukkham, uncertainty. And one of the aspects of this being pointed out is bhayam versus abhayam. So bhayam refers to ashivaha, and bhayam refers to the natural fear of duality. Natural fear arising from plurality. Plurality means that it's not that anyone is bothering you just now, although that is a possibility too. But the possibility of anything happening to you which is not you is dvayata. It is dvaita. Means that you are taking something other than yourself as the reality. And that is bothersome. Basically, it is bothersome. And once you know that you are the whole thing, there is no second thing. Second thing means that if something appears to be different from you, it is your own reflection. It is your own reflection. So seeing a snake meaning that you are imagining something and it is fearful to you. So there the example is slightly different because you take a rope which is different from you as the reality. Here, you are the rope. You are the rope. And so there's only one reality because everything else is a copy. This is to be understood. I'm not ready to believe it at this point in time. What do you mean by everything is a copy? People look different. That person doesn't look like me. That person doesn't look like me. And my own situations look different. I am a young person today. I'm an old person tomorrow. What do you mean? They all look like real to me. But what I have to understand is that all the changes, all of the experiences, all of the appearances that I have, experiences that I have, do not have the same level of reality that I do. In other words, if you look at yourself in the mirror, there's not two of you. There is only one of you. Even though there appears to be two of you, you go into these multiple mirrors in some, this is what happens when you go to these places that have, if you ever go to a newly opened exercise area. So the first thing that they do is they put a lot of mirrors around it. Because usually it's a small place and these machines take a lot of space. And so it appears claustrophobic. So the first thing they do is they put mirrors all around it. It's nice to see yourself, doing exercise. But more than that, it looks less claustrophobic. And when that happens, you see yourself in many different ways. And that doesn't increase your population. There's only one of you. So the same thing is true, really speaking, that when I see the world around me, it appears to be different from me, and therefore it causes bhayam, some concern, not a real fear, but some concern, and fear also. But here, when Yajnavalkya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, was teaching this to Janaka, in the end he says, Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate. Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate means you have now achieved Abhayam. Abhayam can only come through non-duality, Advayata. So that Advaita is Shiva. That is what is being pointed out here. So he says that all dualities, all perceptions of plurality, duality means plurality, um, because why, how is duality equal to plurality? Because it has, you can summarize all of this as not me. So really speaking, it comes down to only two things, me and not me. And the not me is very varied. Very varied. This is a really interesting thing to see, that there is only one me. There's only one I. One I. There's not two eyes. There's only one eye for everyone. One eye. And if you take yourself to be a body, then you become a plurality. But the I is the same. You know, I think we took this example. You say, who is it? Then you say, I. It's me. So then we say, me who? It's me. Don't you know it's me? So then you can say, hey, there's only one me, that's me. You take up a different name. Why are you calling your name as my name? Because everybody says me or I. And so there's only one I. And the not I is the duality. And the not I is varied. So many different things. So that's why the duality is really just nothing but plurality. So this verse basically says that all the plurality is in fact kalpita, is imagined. Imagine means that unreal. Asad bhihi bhavai. They don't really have any real reality. This I have to understand. So this is the cause. My taking myself to be just this much and taking my images as duality is the kalpana. It's the kalpita. As I mentioned it to you, I'm told that if you bring an animal in front of or a very young child in front of a mirror, they get confused. They get confused. Who is this other person? The dog starts barking. And so, this is exactly you. Imagine yourself to something to be different. And the progress which happens very quickly. In the case of a child, it may not happen in the case of animal ever. In the case of child is to understand that the image in the mirror is false. And all it requires is the mother pointing out that, you touch it, baby, this is just you, don't you see that? And you straighten it out. Yes, that's true, that's just me. From that point on, any other image of yourself is taken without any problems. Exactly our situation. What we have to do is to see that there is only one source of reality. This is what is called paramarthata. There's not two sources of reality, and requires a complete evaluation. You see, complete evaluation. By that, for it means, don't we see that the reality, the truth must be one. Cannot be multiple. Why can't it be one? Why can't it be two? Because if there are two realities, then the second reality has to be authorized by me. It becomes dependent. So this is what is called sapeksham. Nirapeksha means one which does not require any confirmation with someone. Self-confirmed. But if there is multiple realities, they are not the real realities. They are just borrowed reality. But the independent reality has to be one only. And that is me. Not the me as an embodied person, but my consciousness, my awareness, which is nothing but Brahman, which is nothing but Ishvara. That is the reality. There's only one reality. And it always is. Whether you are in meditation or you're not in meditation, when you have your eyes open, your eyes closed, that is the me. That is the Paramarthata. And that alone is Shiva. All the Kalpita reality is Ashiva. So that is the meaning of this. Tasmat Advayata Shiva. Very interesting. Swami Maheshananji had given this example. He said that the world, once you understand the mithya of the world, then the previous vision of the world will change completely. And so he gives this example, this funny example. He says, supposing there is a couple and the husband has a friend and he is very friendly to this person and they invites him for dinner and the wife has to cook some food for him and has to welcome this person and has certain regard for the friend of her husband and so on. Then the two friends had a falling out. And so the husband comes home and he says, my God, I tell you, I cannot stand that guy again. It's just gone. I'm not going to see him again. What he did to me, I cannot believe it. This happens. Okay? So now, the wife's understanding of the husband's friend should also drop, because she had no independent relationship with this guy. All she was doing was to be nice to her husband in welcoming him to the home and giving him some food and dinner and so on and so forth. And so the very cause of this friendship is gone, because they had a fight. Now if she says, no, but you know, he's a nice person. He's a nice person. I don't think I should still invite him for dinner. Swamiji says, what will happen? Your marriage is going to break up. If you do a stupid thing like that, you will just your marriage will be completely broken up. So if the cause is gone, then there is no sense for the reality. The reality is all dependent on the friendship with your spouse. That's it. If the friendship is not there, it does not have its own reality. So similarly is the thing that in our life also, we have a certain sense of reality to the world as long as I have a false impression about the world. And if that false impression is gone, then there's no sense to hang on to it. There's no sense in hanging on to it. And it won't be, you will see this. So this is why both Viveka and Vairagya are emphasized. Both are, I still remember the words of Swami Chinmayanand. He says, a bird cannot fly with one wing. Both the wings must be healthy and working for it to fly. A bird can sit on the ground and not fly with one wing. But if you want to just soar, you need two wings. So really, therefore, both Viveka and Vairagya are important. Those are the two wings. And so Viveka means, so in the example of Swami Maheshanandji, look at this. The Viveka is that the husband coming is saying, you know that guy that I was friends with, we are gone. Friendship is gone. So you can ask then, how did it happen? Are you sure you're never going to see him again? All those kinds of things are, this is called ascertainment. Because you yourself had a doubt, is this just temporary? He says, no, this was a very serious thing. And he did something really to me, and there's no reason to, we are done with. So this is called Viveka. This is called Viveka, means that you have now ascertained that this is no longer my husband's friend. Vairagya means that if the person should call you, you hang up. You don't keep on saying hello. Don't take the sides of the husband also. Take the side of the friend also. No. It's gone. So live through your Viveka. Live through your Viveka. Hey, this is a real life that happened to me, my wife and I. Very interesting story. A long time ago, one of our friend's daughter got married to this guy. And he turns out to be a bum. I don't know if he really physically beat her, but he abused her right away. And this happened very quickly, within a matter of months. And as a result of that, our friend's daughter, who is now happily remarried, so this is a long time ago, immediately came home and said, I'm quitting. This is an absolute mistake. This was an arranged marriage. And she says, no, I'm not going to just, so the parents also said, complete divorce, okay, absolutely. And then we were about 4 or 5 friends, and we also said, yes, absolutely. So one day, this guy calls us. And wanted to plead his case to us. I remember this so well. I didn't think about this until and do you know what? Within a minute we said, oh, we've got a guest coming in. We cannot talk to you at this point. Hung up. He tried to call again. By that time we knew his number. Never called him back. No sense in it. If your own best friend has already determined that this was a bad marriage, this is the Viveka. The Vairagya is, you follow the Viveka. Don't question it. So similarly, in the teaching of Vedanta also, is that If you do not have vairagya, that means your viveka is not complete. You're still going after trivial things in life. You're just making, you're making small events that give you pleasure. And you are continuing to not inquire into the real source of your joy. It clearly means you don't understand. Really, both viveka and vairagya are really important in that manner. And so this is what it says, that really once you have an understanding of the paramarthata of the Shiva, then all false imposition of the world should fall off, at least in the direction. In the direction. And I'm really happy to see that in my own personal life, it is working. It is working. I am no longer involved in relatively trivial parts of my life. And if I am involved, it is because it is needed to be involved because of the family. But my own world, I'm okay with myself. Not completely yet, but getting there. It's a very pleasant thing to see, honestly. So discover that I'm okay. I don't need to really beg for happiness from the world. I don't need to do that. This is a very beautiful feeling, honestly. Hard to describe. And it's not as though it's going to suddenly happen one day where you give up the world or anything. It's not going to happen like that. But what will happen is that the truth will, if you pursue the truth with your lifestyle, don't be a false person, be a real person. And if you pursue the truth of Vedanta, slowly it will see, my goodness, this is amazing. I don't depend on people being nice to me. I don't depend on, and eventually it would mean even bad health doesn't bother you. That will happen. Your own body and problems will also not bother you. But in the beginning, the world doesn't bother you. And not only not bother you, you don't seek out dependencies of the world to make you happy. This is very beautiful. And the interesting thing is just like, supposing you are going on a long journey and you're not sure whether you're in the right path or not. And then you look at the guidebook and it says, then you will see this building which is yellow color and it's on the left-hand side. It's a very pleasant feeling that yes, this is I'm going in the right direction. You haven't reached yet, but to see that there are some markers on the road that fulfill what the guide says, it's a very beautiful feeling. And so in one's life, I find that in my life also, I find that this is happening. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. And Ishvara will see whether it should happen completely by this life or next life, who knows, I don't know. But at least just the very direction is so beautiful. And all those things where I used to watch sports and do this and do that, and go to restaurants and gone. Simple food is fine. Doesn't get it, it's okay. because the source comes from myself, not from any place else. So this is the vairagya, and both of them have to be done. More vairagya increases your viveka, and more viveka increases your vairagya. So both of them have to be really done. And but for that, it really means a very clear understanding of the difference between Dvaita, Advaita, Paramarthata, Aparamarthata. So all those things happen, and so that's the description it is, really speaking. If I can just quickly, I'm going to talk about verse number 34 separately because it has some technical aspects. But if you look at verse number 35, Vitaraga bhayak krodhaihi munibhihi veda paragaihi nirvikalpa hi ayam drishtaha prapancha upashamaha advayaha. This is kind of like the personal experience I was talking to you about. Again, it's a question of degree. And he says that this Advayam Atma, which is always there, we just disregard it. We don't think about it, but it is there already. Ishvara is with you all the time as the very source of the happiness. When that happens, then prapancha upashamaha, then vitaraga bhayakrodhaihi. So look at this, Veda paragaihi. Paragaihi means one who is well versed in what the Vedanta is saying. The Vedanta is talking about. Because here, the Shravanam, the listening, and the Mananam on it and so on has to be done over a long period of time with a lot of sincerity. When that happens, wonderful things happen. Because then slowly the world no longer has the hold. Vitaraga bhayak krodhai. And then so even anger and fear and attachments and so on that were so part of one's life are gone. Really. It's just... And if you have anger, it is because it is feigned anger. Feigned anger. Something has to be done. Like if you have something should bother you, you have to just say, I think I better get angry with this person. It is not uncontrolled anger, it is controlled anger. So it is part of the very show. If you have children and the children misbehave and you have to get angry, you have to get angry. But it is not anger because it is a reaction. It is controlled anger. Same thing with bhayam, fear of things. And fear goes, whatever happens, happens. Doesn't matter. If I lose the life, I lose the life. I don't lose myself. I'll be born again somewhere. It'll be taken care of. The fear also goes, really. And then ragaha. Ragaha is the really main thing. It's just knocking around for pleasures outside of you. Diminishes. You're happy where you are. You're happy in the morning, studying, just being with yourself. And so this is the result of doing all of that, and it is pointed out over and over again. So he says, Vitaraga bhaya krodhaihi munibhihi veda paragaihi. So Muni and Veda Paragaihi refers to, Veda Paragai refers to Shravanam, and Muni refers to Mananam. And really after that it is Nididhyasana. You just enjoy. Even a little bit here and there, it gives you certain enjoyment. And it just builds on it slowly. On that. So anyway, that's what the Karika is pointing out, and so we'll continue with that. I think we only have, I'll try to finish this by next week. Vaitatya Prakaranam. So we are finished with that. And if you didn't get a chance to see that special class that we did last week, please do so. Interesting concepts, and be well worth your time to visit with that. So with that, I'll close. Om Swasti Bhi Prajabhi Palaparipalantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobhamanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yamuksho Bharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Durgabhag Bhaved Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Hari Om. Yeah.
So in terms for the Vairagya concept, the example which you gave for Vairagya where that wife decides not to take a side, isn't that still being passionate about something and not disconnecting yourself from the situation?
So let me, your question is that the example of the talk about the husband's,
Correct, yeah.
the example of the husband's friend. So your question with respect to that is what?
So you mentioned that the wife not taking a side or not inviting the other friend in is Vairagya.
Yes. So you don't see that, how that is Vairagya, the wife not taking the side. So that, in that perhaps is not a perfect example of Vairagya, but what it means is a perfect example of Viveka.
Right, okay.
Viveka means that you should understand that my connection to this person is not independent of my husband. That's the Viveka. Okay? Now, if you flout it, you're going to cause problems with everybody. That is the Vairagya. See, because supposing you say that no, this person is a good person, maybe you made a mistake. Let me tell you something. Remember I was telling you about our example, the real one? There was another family who was close to this other family who flouted it and who encouraged this boy, took the phone calls. Do you know they have not spoken to each other since then? And it's been a big problem in the whole society, just because of the stupidity of not going through that. You just believe in your friend, whatever he's done, it doesn't matter what it is. So this is a good example of, I shouldn't say that it's not a good example, it's a good example of vairagya, because don't just try to come out with a reality which should not have a reality. The reality was purely conditional to your friend. You didn't even know this person. You were only going through this because of your husband. If the husband rejects it, then don't try to double cross him and say, no, you should do this, that, or the other. And so this is what happens in our life, is that it's interesting. Swami Paramarthananda, Maheshanandji, he makes this very important thing. I was going to do it next week, but I'll do that here. So what happens is, in this example, let's keep this example of the husband and the friend. So what happens is, people come to Swamiji and say, Swamiji, you know what you're talking about, the Vedanta, and this, and the fact that you have to be dharmic in your way, and so on and so forth. That is all true. But, so he talks about it in Hindi, he says magar. So there he says magar people, these are but people. Means, what we have to exist in the society. And so Swamiji says, here's what happens is, I'm telling you that there is no reason to have a certain view of the society, but you are now assigning an alternate reality. And if that happens, you're not going vairagya. You are coming up with you're assigning a reality to something that doesn't need to be assigned a reality. So it's the same question on that. You see, so it's a pretty good example of a vairagya. That once the reason has been cut off, then follow that. You are now, so if the Vedanta says that really there is no reason to cheat and lie, no reason to do this, because it just impedes your progress. Okay? Then you say, this sounds good on paper, but I still have to deal with people. That means you're not ready to really do this. Your viveka is not complete. Your vairagya is impeding it, and so you're not doing it that way. So that's the kind of question. Yeah.
So, Bhranti and Adhyas, are they same? Or?
Pretty much the same. Yes, very much the same. Yes. So, Bhranti could be taken as the result of the Adhyasa. The way you give reality is because of the error.
Adhyas become first.
Yes, yes. But they are all the same family, yes. Yeah.
Swami Paramarthananda uses this idea of triangular format and
Correct.
Binary
format.
format,
Can we not, is there anything wrong with that approach? I think for me, it really helps me understand.
It's
when
an
the
advanced
transaction-
concept that has to be done slowly.
The way we're covering that right now,
Yeah.
Atma level, it's at the higher level
Yeah,
of
yeah,
understanding.
yeah.
It clearly distinguishes the transactional reality
Yeah,
from that.
yeah. I'll bring it in appropriately.
I think
Yes.
that would be
Yeah.
a way to, then the vairagya of anatma becomes very clear,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
Viveka of atma,
Yeah,
anatma.
we'll
and
introduce. It's
the
a good
vairagya.
way. It's a good
Yeah.
model
Yeah.
to use.
To
But
be
we're
clear
talking
about-
about the same thing in different
The same
ways.
thing to what you
Exactly.
said.
It's very
Same
powerful.
thing.
Yeah, right.
Same concept.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Just a quick thing,
Yeah.
if adhyas is error, what is the Santi Vichhed of nididhyasa? Is there any relation to adhyas
Sorry,
there?
so let me understand. If adhyasa is error, then what?
In nididhyas.
Oh, so the word nididhyasana.
Yeah, so is there a common root there that I'm trying to figure out something?
yeah,
there.
So, dhyaihi is the root, which means to think. Dhyaihi. So, adhyaihi means not to think properly. It would be adhyasa. And nidhi would mean to think, it has some other aspects too in the prefixes, but eventually it means just the opposite of adhyasa. Yeah, something like that. Okay, all right.